Today I am going to be turning my original character from this into this. So let's get to redesigning. As you know, I have three main characters, or more commonly known as original characters, or OCs, Hatch, Dennis, and Alena. If you don't know what an OC is, it's basically just a character created by an artist, and that's it. It's theirs. I have created a lot of characters throughout my art journey, be it the 500 drawing prompt series, Inktober challenges, random doodles, etc, etc. But these three characters mean more to me, and I'll make a video on their creation later on. For now, we have a problem to solve. I'll just cut to the chase. Alena is the least loved, least popular, and kind of hilariously the least drawn of my three characters. I get a lot of amazing artwork from y'all, and I enjoy all of it, no matter what the subject and obviously no matter the skill level. But I couldn't help but notice a pattern with the fan art. About half of the art I get from you guys that includes my original characters usually include Hatch and Dennis, but I've noticed a lack of Alena. Again, I'm not mad about it. In fact, I find it kind of hilarious. Sorry, Alena. This is something that has been going on ever since the beginning of me receiving gift art from you guys, and it just got me thinking. I've always thought Alena was a bit of an outcast when it came to the designs of my other two characters. Obviously, she's human. The design of all three of my characters are a combination of animals, and again, I'll get into that when I make a video dedicated to them. But noticeably, Alena is primarily human, and that really made her stand out from the other two characters. Her design is a lot more complicated, and although it's good to have variation, her design stands out. This also especially stood out when it came to the subject matter of my art. I have a simple and shapely style, which Hatch and Dennis both really fit into, but Alena never really fit into that. If my art is supposed to be more simple and childish, I want the design to also reflect that. I want more younger artists to feel comfortable drawing all of my characters, so basically I want to make sure that younger or beginner artists feel comfortable drawing all of my characters. As an artist, it's good to constantly push yourself to draw things outside of your comfort zone, so Alena's human form isn't going anywhere. I just want to make sure she's more included and friendly towards all artists. So with all of this in mind, I thought it would be fun to create a different form for Alena, so let's get to sketching. Okay, so before I started to brainstorm on any designs for Alena, I wanted to draw her as is just to make sure that I had all of her properties in mind. Obviously, her main features are going to be her hair, her glasses, of course, that pointy nose, and the sprinkle of red throughout her design. So once I had a basic sketch of Alena, I had something to reference when designing her owl form. But before I jumped into redesigning Alena, I thought I could use some help. I wanted her redesign to be the best it could be. And thanks to the sponsor of this video, Skillshare, I had access to plenty of helpful tools for redesigning Alena's new form. Skillshare is the perfect place to explore any curiosities you have for improving upon a creative skill or trying something new. It's 2020, new you, new skill! Get out there and learn from their thousands of classes made by creative people just like you. Learn to paint, knit, bake, whatever you want. I found a lot of really useful information from Melissa Lee's character design crash course designing animal characters, which touched on exaggerating shape, color reference, and also the importance of studying other artists' work when creating characters based on animals, which is exactly what I was looking for. So taking what I learned from her class, I was able to get some really good references when designing my own character. If you want access to classes like this, Skillshare is incredibly affordable at less than $10 a month for an annual subscription, and you can get 2 months free by clicking the link in the description. It's 2020, new year, new skill, new Alena, so let's get to designing her owl form. So not only did I look up references of actual real life owls, but I also wanted to look up references of cartoon owls. So owls, well, I guess this basically meant Disney because most animated cartoon owls are from Disney. I wanted to avoid the bigger owls, so owls like from Winnie the Pooh or Fox and the Hound, they were just a little tall and bulky for what I was going for. I wanted to focus on shapes that already existed in Alena's character, and she has a very round head, and those character designs just didn't seem to reflect Alena. I want to make sure that you do have a connection between her owl form and human form. I don't want to lose that between the two. So looking at these two designs of owl characters, they were kind of out of the question for what I was going for. Looking at more rounder owl characters like Mr. Owl from the Tootsie Pop commercial, Sleeping Beauty, Alice in Wonderland, and Sword in the Stone had owl characters that were more towards what I was looking for. Then moving on to the owl from My Little Pony, and then it hit me when I saw Hoot Hoot and Noctowl from Pokemon. That's when I realized this is probably where I got the bulk of inspiration for Alena's design. I created Alena about 6 years ago at this point, and I don't have any sketches from her original character design. Kind of sad, but that's what happens when you move from another country. But judging by the pattern around Hoot Hoot's eyes, I cannot imagine that I just made that up myself, so there's that. That being said, I do feel like it is a key feature in her design, so I knew that I wanted to keep her glasses, even though her glasses are removable. It's just something that I thought would be really interesting to keep into her design. So obviously I did want to keep her hair shape when designing the owl, because as a human based off of an owl, I wanted to make sure that I kept the owl features in this owl animal. But the more I sketched this round little owl, the more I thought how hilarious it would be if I just basically turned her head into an owl and just got rid of her whole entire body. I did want to play around with body shapes for these owls, but I just couldn't escape that adorable, just chop off Alena's head and make it into an owl idea, and that is what I ended up running with. Some of the bodied owls are really cute, but just a head with legs. How could I say no to that? Once I decided that I was going to chop off Alena's head and put bird legs on it, I decided to make sure that the design was where I wanted it and that I could create this character from different angles and in different poses, and just make sure that there was nothing else that I needed to improve upon. That is where I discovered I had one last struggle, and oh my goodness, the colors for this character was the biggest struggle. I didn't want to use a lot of the pale skin tone on this character because it is a bird, there's no skin on it, but the browns just weren't working for me, and I couldn't decide where I wanted there to be different colors for the feathers. I did want to make sure that this character was still kept pretty simple. So I didn't want to add too much detail, but I also didn't want it to just be one color, and oh my gosh, I just struggled so much with this. In the end, I decided to add just a very small detail of the 3 dots above her eyes to represent those glasses. And I think it turned out really simple and cute, and I really like her little owl form. It still represents her. And of course, I did have to keep a little hair clip just to make sure that there was still that connection with the character. And I also just wanted to make sure that there was still some red in her. After I had the character design down, I drew the owl form with the other characters, and I think it fits in really well. It's super adorable, super small, super cute, super simple, and I think in her owl form, she probably has a bit of a different personality, so I'm really excited to start exploring that with this character. Overall, I always felt like this character was the weakest of the 3, so hopefully this will help me start to love her and develop her a little bit more, and I'm feeling hopeful about it. And because I couldn't get it out of my head and really wanted to see this come to life, no matter how rough it is, I couldn't help but think of the way she transformed between her human form and her owl form. I could just imagine her picking up her cape and just swirling it around her, and just poof, she turns into an owl. And to turn back into a human form, she wraps herself in her wings, and in one motion, the wings go down, turning into the cape and revealing her body. Again, I'm not an animator, and this was just a really quick sketch just to see how that would look, so I thought it was really fun and silly to see animated. And there it is. There is our redesigned character, Alena. Let me know what you think about her additional design. I think it's just really cute in the way that she can go between these two designs and still keep that original design. It's really fun. Hopefully you guys will feel a little more comfortable drawing Alena and including her in more art. And I can't wait to see if you do draw her. Feel free to tag me, obviously. I would love to see it. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching my redesigning of Alena. Again, if you want to get your 2 months free of Skillshare, check out the link in the description. Thank you again so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay golden. Bye.